This is the third time I've recorded this video. I have sat in this spot 3 times today with my legs crossed, and my feet are just not having it anymore. They keep falling asleep. I'm a mess. Hello! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and this is my ADHD lifestyle, and today I want to talk to you about setting New Year's resolutions for 2021. This is the third time I'm recording this video, so it's gonna be a trip. So, I am here to give you tips on achieving your goals as someone who never achieves anything. Let's go! Setting goals is something that a lot of people do, obviously, at the end of the year. A lot of people pick out a couple of New Year's resolutions and they're like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do this year. And then a lot of them don't achieve those goals. And I think, especially for myself, as someone with ADHD, I have some reasons why I tend to not achieve those goals. So I want to talk about that a little bit in this video, give you guys an opportunity to maybe get some tips about ways you can set goals which are a little bit more attainable, and just kind of talk about some stuff that's going on. I am going to address one thing not related to the video in this video. I just want to kind of say it real quick, so I'm going to do that in a second. However, I'm going to do the rest of my intro first. So, if you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please consider subscribing. And if you really love my content, you can hit the bell icon to get notified every single time that I post. Here are my other social media handles if you would like to look them up at some point. So before we get going, I just want to address, so I did that vlog a while ago, that get ready with me vlog, where I talked about the fact that I was interviewing for what was a dream job. I unfortunately did not get the job that I was talking about in that video, and then I didn't talk about it because I wound up interviewing for a different job with the same company, which would have still been kind of a dream job for me. It was more about working with that particular company. So unfortunately I didn't get that second one either, but I had to kind of keep my lips shut in the meantime because of that. And then my life kind of got a little bit insane, work got really busy, and then in the last especially week or so, some things have happened with work, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later in this video involving my goals, but there have been some developments which have made my life very stressful, so I have not had the opportunity to talk about the fact that I did not get that job or either of those jobs, so I just wanted to do that here really quick. I might talk about it in more specifics later and kind of talk about, receiving disappointing news, but for now, I'm just mentioning it so nobody's like, what happened with that? But anyway, moving on. So, New Year's resolutions are coming, 2021 is coming, and I am just praying that 2021 is better than 2020. I'm sure so many people are right now, and I just gotta say that's completely valid. Let's start there. Only looking up in this household, 2021 is hopefully gonna be a good year for a lot of people. Just kidding, I'm an incredibly pessimistic person, which I've had to work on in the last couple years. But anyway, let's talk about setting soft goals. So what is a soft goal? So some people talk about SWOT goals, or those weird acronym goal things where it's achievable and compact, and it's too much. I can't with that. So a soft goal, in my opinion, is usually a goal that starts out very lofty, and I personally take and make slightly smaller. What that means is so I'm going to give you specific tips as well, but setting soft goals is something that I just kind of want to advocate for. As someone who has ADHD, it works really well for me. A soft goal, for example, would be, say you're thinking about New Year's resolutions and you're I want to exercise every single day of the week. I want to get into that habit of being up early in the morning and going to the gym or running outside every single day of the week. First of all, let's start here. It's not healthy for you to do that. You need to take rest days. Please, if you are exercising regularly, take rest days, especially if you are weightlifting. But second of all, it's not a very attainable goal. Getting up every day early, even when you haven't slept well, is really, really hard. So you're much better off doing something like, I want to work out 3 days a week. Or even if you're starting from zero, I would highly encourage you to be I want to work out 1 day a week. Because even if you only achieve working out that 1 day a week for the entire year, that's so much better than where you were at. And I think there's something to be said for setting very, very attainable goals, or even setting purposefully very attainable goals, so that you have at least a couple of things you can check off on your resolutions list throughout the year, which will make you feel a little bit better and motivate you to continue trying to move through that list. So as I'm moving forward, please keep in mind, I'm advocating for you to set very, very specific and kind of attainable goals. So like, you know, I want to find a new job is a fairly specific and attainable goal. Or I want to work out 3 times a week is specific and a little bit more attainable. Or I want to try at least 3 new recipes a month. You know, all of those are really, really attainable goals that you can move forward with into 2020 a lot more easily than something like I want to exercise every day, or I want to cook every single meal for myself, or I never want to eat takeout again. And personally, I think overall, soft goals are active goals, in my opinion. I would highly suggest against restrictive goals, unless it's something like, I want to go vegan. That's a little bit different in my opinion. That's like a lifestyle change. Versus like, I want to eat less sweets. Like, which first of all, what does that mean? Maybe be specific. Like, I don't want to eat ice cream every day. If you eat ice cream every day, which I could, let me tell you, but I shouldn't because I'm at least vaguely lactose intolerant. But anyway, my point here is that if you are setting an attainable goal, make it something that you like have to work towards as opposed to something you have to not do. So once you have those actual goals that you want to achieve, whether there be 5 of them, 9 of them, 15 of them, whatever you have set out, make sure that you have at least one goal you know you will be able to achieve. So for example, a goal that I am giving myself that I know I will be able to achieve sometime in 2021 is sending out a single novel pitch. I want to send, a query letter if you know a little bit more about the publishing industry, but I really want to try and sell the novel that I have written. It's with an editor right now. Hopefully when she finishes, I will have the opportunity to actually query with that written, fully drafted novel. And so what I'm hoping for is to just send one query letter in 2021, which I know I will be able to do. Another thing that I am going to try and aim to do is get a new job, because circumstances relating to my work have made things upsetting. So I do want to get a new job in 2021, which I knew I kind of wanted to do. I had it in mind. I'll be at 2 years at my current employer in February of 2021, and it's unfortunately just kind of in that spot where I knew that I could get a better title and a little bit more money if I moved, as opposed to trying to do that internally where I was. And there's not really a lot of like upward mobility in my company right now because I work at a startup. So because of that, I decided a while ago, like I was probably going to start looking in February of 2021, but stuff that's happened in the last week has made me decide that no, this needs to happen sooner than that. And I'm hopefully going to be able to talk about that a little bit more explicitly in the future, but probably not until I have a new job. But moving on from that, so that's my first tip. Pick one goal that you can definitely achieve. Tip number 2. My second tip is so for any of your goals that are a little bit more difficult or require like a particular starting point, I would say try to start them in December, or at least lay the groundwork for them in December. So for example, I want to try and have a new job as soon as possible in 2021. And because of that, I've already started updating my resume. I've already started applying to places on LinkedIn. And I've also, started just like generally preparing myself and thinking about what I want to do in the future, and also doing a couple of recruiter interviews because they're a good way to kind of practice before you're in an actual interview, which luckily I've interviewed fairly recently due to that like dream job situation that actually kind of worked out in my favor. And I'd also updated my resume then too, so I had a little bit less work, but I've already kind of laid that groundwork for achieving that goal in 2021. A great example of this is buy yourself a planner in like December that you're going to start using January 1. I'm going to talk about my planner too, but I'm really excited about the planner I bought this year. Anyway, going beyond that, I also want to say that if something has a particular starting point, for example, if you want to shave 10 seconds off of your mile time in 2021, so maybe you run a mile in 10 minutes and 30 seconds and you want to get down to 10 minutes and 20 seconds, it's really important for you to not forget about practicing during the holidays. And it's one of those things when it comes down to it, since it has that very sure starting point and you're like, okay, I want to get down to 10-20. And then, you know, you take 3 weeks off. Running is something that requires practice and regular doing. So, you know, all of a sudden maybe you might be coming into January 1 and your mile time is now 10 minutes and 35 seconds regularly, even for the first month or so, which isn't a bad thing. It's totally not like a bad thing to like slip up. I don't want to be negative about that in any way, shape, or form. I'm just using this kind of as an example. But, you know, now you're at 10 minutes and 35 seconds, and to get down to 10:20, you have to shave 15 seconds off. So that's kind of like the easiest way for me to quantify what I'm trying to say. But if it has like a starting point, try not to accidentally like not do it over the holidays, or start laying the groundwork so you can start right away in January 1 so that you can kind of, you know, have a better chance of actually achieving that goal. And one of the other things I would say for this is like buying supplies for things or doing some research on it. If you're planning on querying, you know, agents, it would be a really great time to research various literary agents and deciding if there is a particular one that you would like to send your very first query letter to, if there's one that, you know, really fits what you've written. I need to move my feet. Oh God, they're so... Okay. I mentioned this is the third time I've recorded this video. I have sat in this spot 3 times today with my legs crossed, and my feet are just not having it anymore. They keep falling asleep. It's... I'm a mess. Hello. Oh, this video. Anyway. And I would say this is the optimal time to buy a planner. Not only are they often on sale, but you want to have it before January 1. I would say the same thing for like trying new planning apps. So I've been using Notion recently, which is like an online app, partially because I want to do a review of it, partially because I am keeping track of a lot of like my novel stuff in there, and a lot of my writing projects in general. I'm always writing, so that's something that I kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna make a place for all of this so that I can kind of have it available to me when I need it. And also I'm going to be making like my novel Bible or my book Bible in Notion, so I've started doing that in December so that I can kind of have it prepared for myself in case I send out a query and a literary agent picks up my novel and, you know, starts sending it out. So I just want to have that available and ready for that situation. I think I'm on tip number... I think I'm on 3. I think I'm on 3. My third tip, that's 6. 3. I totally just forgot it. Oh, okay. So my third tip is to try and do a mid-year review if you can. So mid-year reviews are something that I try to do every year, though I tend to do them in July rather than in June, just because I tend to, like, it slips my mind, and then by July I'm like, oh, I wanted to do a mid-year review, and I'll like sit down and just do it, which there's something to be said about just... if you don't do something on the timeline you originally plan on doing it on, just doing it anyway because you've remembered to do it. That aside though, I personally this year, I'm really excited about it. I bought a planner that has a built-in mid-year review, and I'll try to like, I'm definitely going to put the @ for the planner. It's We Are Inspira, I believe, on Instagram. But it's actually Jordan Shrinks, who's another YouTuber who I really like and really respect. It's her company. I saw the weekly layout and I was like, ooh, and then I saw that it had a mid-year review and I was like, oh, and then I was kind of looking at all the pretty art and I was like, I'm gonna buy this. Because also something I am trying to do personally is I'm trying to buy from more small businesses in general, so it was a really good opportunity to kind of mesh both of those together. The planner is a weight loss and wellness planner, but I am personally more focused on the wellness aspect. It has stuff about mental health in there and kind of check-in stuff. That aside, I think it's going to be a really good planner for what I want to do this year and some of my goals. Find a planner you really like, whether it be digital or it be physical, whatever works for you. And then also, like I said, I'm using Notion as well, which is kind of, I'm going to mix it in with like the physical planner so that I kind of have a digital planning stuff as well as physical. That's kind of the system I've been using. I'm hopefully going to be able to do a video at some point kind of talking about my organization system so that you guys can kind of get some ideas. Comment down below if you're interested in that. I think this is tip number 4. I hope. I was going to hopefully get to 5 in this. I don't know if I am. I think I forgot one and I don't know what it was anymore. Tip number 4 that I want to talk about is honestly just try to go into 2021 with some kind of positivity. I know it can be so hard right now with how bad 2020 has been for various reasons, just so many reasons, like the pandemic, the economy, job losses, everything that happened in May and June with Black Lives Matter. Just this year has been rough for a lot of people, mentally, emotionally, physically, especially for people of color, and especially for people who are in marginalized groups that have been more heavily affected by the pandemic, and also people who are in careers that have been more heavily affected by the pandemic. I know it's so hard right now to really find any kind of positivity, but just focus on something that's going to kind of bring you some kind of light. So for me, I'm adopting a pet in January, which I'm so excited about. But, you know, that's something that I can look forward to and is going to be a level of self-care for me. I live alone, and I really need something that can be here with me, that I can take care of and love and hang out with. And I think that's going to be something that I'm really looking forward to in 2021. You know, other things that you could potentially be looking forward to, you know, let's say maybe like your kids are growing up a little bit and they're like starting to get in that stage where they're like really interested in you and talking to you, and they want to talk to you all the time, and you know, they're just great kids. Like, that's something you can be really excited about, is getting another year with them, even if it is another year of schooling virtually. Something that you can be excited about maybe is a new planner that you got, or a new journal that you're really excited to use. Being excited about all of the things that you want to learn in the next year. Maybe you're looking to learn watercolor painting and you've found good resources for that and you're excited about it, and you've bought all of the equipment, so you're like, yay. And you know, I think people with ADHD do, at least for me, like I do have that impulsivity where I'm like, I'm gonna try this, and I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna try this, and I'm gonna try that. And you know, something that I've really found is that like not a lot of things stick, but you know what stuck was doing YouTube. Which, like I mentioned before, this is very much a hobby for me, but this is one of my like longest running hobbies I've had in a long time. It's been a good investment of my time, and it's really made me happier throughout the pandemic. So, you know, just kind of looking forward to the things that you maybe discovered in 2020 that you're going to get to continue to do in 2021. And so I'm really excited to continue doing the things that I've been doing on this channel. Yeah, that was a little feel-goody, wasn't it? So I remembered the 5th. And then I forgot it. Oh God. It was good too. Oh, right. Okay. Tip number 5. Find some kind of education that you can do. Learn something new. Pick a resolution that involves learning something new. Why do I say that? Because you never know what is going to be good for you. I've toyed with the idea of making a YouTube channel for a really long time, and I turned out to absolutely love to learn videos, which was very scary for me. I thought I was going to be horrible at it. I'm mediocre at best, but I'm getting better. And, you know, something that's focused on education, whether it be for a hobby or even for your profession, having a goal that surrounds learning something new, in my opinion, is always going to be a good choice. So like, for example, this year, something that I picked up was Skillshare. This is not sponsored, by the way. Actually, I picked it up because I'm starting a series called ADHD Reviews, where I talk about products that seem like they would be really good for people with ADHD, and then just kind of generally talking about whether or not I think it is actually good for people with ADHD. But going along with that, I am hopefully going to do an ADHD reviews video about Skillshare in particular, which I don't think people would like see Skillshare and they'd be like, that would be great for people with ADHD. But I do think it is something to kind of talk about from an ADHDer's perspective, whether that be like talking about, hey, I'm on a total tangent. I'm going to stop now. Because I am using Skillshare, I am finding a lot of opportunity for me to learn more, whether that be more about DaVinci Resolve and, you know, this editing software I've been using, learning more about Photoshop as I kind of learn to use that to make thumbnails, and even just like various other things. Like I sat and like listened to a whole course the other day that was like about writing, which was a good refresher for me. So I think it's always a good idea to pick up something like that. And obviously you don't have to use Skillshare. YouTube has tons of free classes online. Like I remember one year I was like, I want to learn more about like the yoga moves so that I could hopefully feel more comfortable going to an in-person yoga class, because like I don't know what a chaturanga is. I do now. But so I started, you know, I just got onto YouTube and I was like, okay, yoga. And I found Yoga with Adriene, who, if you have ever tried to search yoga on YouTube, you've probably heard of her. But I found Yoga with Adriene, and she had this like beginners, like starting your daily, oh man, I can't remember what she called it. Daily practice, like your daily yoga practice. And it was like 30 days. And what I did with it was I was like, okay, I can't do this every day. That was like the idea behind it, because I would get up early before work to do it. And then I would have to shower afterwards and stuff and then get on the L. But what I did was I was like, okay, I can just do this like twice a week and still just do each one in order, and it was still helpful to me for like learning those things. So I think that's always like a good way to go if you're like not in the monetary situation to be spending money on something like Skillshare. I don't know how many times I've had a trouble. Granted, it didn't help me with any of the problems with the videos I've been having this week, but that aside, I don't know how many times I've had a problem with like something I was editing and I just hopped onto YouTube real quick and searched for something like, you know, how do I add this effect in DaVinci Resolve 16? And it would always bring something up and it would help and I would get through it. So that's something that I think is like really, really cool about YouTube in general. I'm just kind of rambling now. Sorry if this video was like a little bit feel-goody. I feel like sometimes you just need a little bit of positivity, and that's fine. You know, it's fine. And that's what I wanted this video to be. I wanted it to be a positive opportunity for us to kind of, for me at least, to share some of the things that I do to make achieving my goals a little bit easier as someone with ADHD, as someone who is very, very impulsive and gets distracted and is all over the place and really likes to do everything. I mean, can you see this channel? I did a video essay like last week, and now I'm here talking about ADHD again, and like, you get what I'm saying. Just wait until I get into the media criticism, then I'm just... So that's all for today. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please consider subscribing. If you really like my content, hit the bell icon so you get notified every single time that I post. Here is my Instagram handle. I do more like daily stuff on there, so if you're interested in that, check that out. I talk about food mostly, I'll be honest. I'm trying to branch out a little bit, but I'm just like, the food posts, that's my favorite. It's what made me start this channel, so that's what I do on my Instagram. I hope everyone who has ADHD has an absolutely wonderful 2021. If you want, jump into the comments right now and tell me one thing, like one New Year's resolution that you're making that you're really, really excited about. And then also, word of the day, which is a thing that I've started now. The word of the day is resolution, which means, I didn't write it down in the script. Hey Google, what does resolution mean?
Here's the definition of resolution. A firm decision to do or not to do something.
Oh, okay. So the word of the day is resolution, which means a firm decision to do or not to do something. I would focus on maybe the doing part and the not doing part, as I said earlier. Anyway, if you could take the word of the day, put it down in the comments. No one else will know what you're doing, but I will know what you're doing, and I will appreciate it because it helps out my channel. If you guys have anything you want to share with me, feel free. I really hope you guys all have a great day. I hope that your New Year's and your holidays are as fun as they can be given the current situation. And, you know, hopefully the pandemic will end soon. I'd love that. Bye, guys. Cool. I'm still not entirely in frame. I hope my mic is close enough to me. We're gonna go with it. Oh. And I am going on. My second tip number 2, words. So the word of the day is resolution, a firm decision to... So the word of the day is oh god, that hurt.